It hasn't been published. What you said she done since she became Chancellor? You said she can't be trusted because she does U-turns.
You two are going around in circles. You two are going around in circles and getting a bit aggro. Both of you take a breath.
No, I'm asking a very simple question.
I know you are.
Instead of answering it, he's going around in circles.
He's trying to explain himself, and you're not. You don't want the explanation. You go.
No, clearly Daniel didn't understand the question, so I've just said it again, and I'll say it again. You said she's not. You can't trust her because of her U-turns. I then asked you what U-turns she's done. You said she's not done any on this budget. I clarified that it was while her entire time as being a Chancellor. What U-turns has she done that has lost the trust of the public since she became Chancellor last year? That was my question, and we keep going back to this. Well, last week she did this. I want to know what U-turns she does, and U-turns on actual policies, not speculation. What U-turn has she done on policies? And yes, she has done U-turns.
In my opinion, her lack of credibility has come from this budget process.
So she had credibility last.
I wasn't in favour of her policies, but at the end of the day, I'm talking about this budget process, and she should be resigning.
You don't think she needed to resign over the pit cuts? Or the U-turn she did with Winterfield Alliance?
I don't think the pit cuts were her plan.
Can I just please step in? So, Daniel, can I just say, like, I disagree, not with you, I disagree with how she's leading up to this budget, but what you've got to understand is, as well, this is our opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean she's done anything wrong leading up to this budget, because it's a viewpoint. Now, we can talk about going back on a policy and a U-turn, and then we can talk about the reasons why she's done it, and maybe it's actually justified why she's done it. Maybe it's not justified. Maybe there was something else. But like, if you're not happy about how she is leading up to this budget, then you need to say, in my opinion, I don't like how she's done this.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine to have opinions. But if we can actually go on just solely on facts in this life, that's what you can have an opinion, that's fine, just state it as an opinion.
Yeah. And my opinion is that what should happen in this budget is she resigns because of how she's handled this budget process.
In the entirety of history, has any Chancellor ever resigned from a budget? During the budget?
Sorry, one second, guys. Darren, what budget? It isn't out until next week.
Yeah, it's not even been published.
It's the budget process. So the budget process...
Sorry. No, Darren in the comments was like, it's a terrible budget, it'll bankrupt us, and it's not even out yet.
Sorry,
It's not been published, guys. The budget has not been published. Like, you can talk about her PR training, because it's terrible. The whole of Labour's PR training is terrible.
Every single person who opened their mouth and made that statement about disabled people should resign. All of them. All of them. How did you open your mouth and say those words with your whole chest?
Hey, Boo. I've got actually a list of U-turns here. Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Go. Yes.
So, obviously, winter fuel payment.
Mm-hmm. She upped the threshold.
Yep. She also did the social care where she scrapped it / delayed, where she was going to cancel the planned 86,000 cap on social care costs. She's also had the restoring the railway fund that has been completely cancelled.
Yep.
Then we can talk about those are the three major ones, and then we can talk about maybe spirit of some pledges.
Yep.
So, for example, the employer national insurance increase. Is that working people? Is that not? Is it in the spirit of what they were saying?
I think instead of doing employers and national insurance, they should have done corporation tax instead. They should have upped corporation tax instead of employers' national insurance, because it did affect small businesses.
Then we also can talk about, like, they've increased capital gains tax, where before the election they did repeatedly kind of emphasize they had no plans, but that's the wording they use, plans to raise capital gains tax. Yeah,
they kept saying that, but the three ones they kept emphasizing was national insurance for employees, not employers.
Yeah.
Council, was it council tax? They had a list of three taxes they said. It was income tax, national insurance, and I can't remember the third one. For the life of me, I think it might have been council tax. And they kept saying the tax will be on the royal shoulders, and they continued that, and they said they're going to keep to them pledges.
It wasn't council tax because they knew they had to rise
Right. So I can't remember the third one. Can anybody remember the third one? So it's definitely 3. It was income tax.
I remember.
Obviously, this was before the election, which was quite.
I remember the pledge they did U-turn on, but it's not one of the 3 you're thinking of. Jake's back, so we've got a full panel. I'm trying to work out who we can swap out.
I'll drop for a bit.
I was just going to ask you. Thank you, Holly.
Before I go, Merry Halamus and Jingle Halal.
Happy solstice, everyone. Up you come, Jake.
And then, like, we can also talk about the fact that they're criticising the banker's bonus cap being removed, and then they never actually reinstated it. She also, like, back in early 2024, they slashed the Labour's flagship promise to spend 28 billion on green energy.
They reduced it down.
Drastically.
15 million.
Please don't gift the host. The host doesn't accept gifts. The panel does. So
was it 15 million they dropped down the green pledge to, or was it 20 million? They dropped it down by quite a bit.
I don't know how much they dropped it down, but I just know it's 28 billion, and now it's not that. It's massively
It's like 20 billion now, 15 billion. It's a lot less.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, Daniel, you can say I want her to resign, but back it up, not with just opinions, but facts and what reasons why. That's what we need you to elaborate on. I was trying to get there. I was like, it's not coming out that way. But
again, every single
all these fantastic reasons of why she should step down as chancellor, or at least consider it. And
every single one of them, all of them.
Yeah,
you said that with your chest.
Yeah, it wasn't just. It was quite a few who said that. Can we also remember that the Department of Work and Pensions, Secretary of Department of Work and Pensions, currently Pat McFadden, who also said things about the disability cuts. They said when they explained how many people with disabilities and children of families with disabilities would end up in poverty, his reaction was only depending on how they go about the changes. That was his reaction. He just didn't care at all.
Don't gift the host. The host doesn't accept gifts. She only has the option turned on for the panel. And boo, every time I do that, it makes me feel like I am bartering for everyone to send them to me. I don't like it.
It does say, please do not send gifts to host. Hi, I'm the host.
For a lot of people, it zooms out too far. They can't see it.
Oh, no, guys, I'm the host. Send it all to Boo.
Was that your evil laugh from the tent? An evil laugh.
Now they're doing it to annoy me.
James, you know better.
So can we get back to the question and see what Lewis thinks that the government should do in the budget?
Oh wait, CJ, you've never answered. Wait, Lewis, you never answered.
Lewis hasn't answered.
What policy would you like in the budget? And then CJ, and then Jake, and then we'll change conversation. Go. We'll continue on this, but Eddie said that. Yeah. Lewis, what thing do you think should be in this budget if you had a choice? Not what could be, but what you'd want.
I want to try moving the tax brackets around, potentially introduce another one, maybe increase then income tax while increasing the personal free allowance. So then that way we still take home, like the government still receives the same amount of money, maybe at the end of the day, or maybe a bit more, whereas people on lower incomes have more disposable income, which then would also contribute to the economy anyway, because they're most likely to be purchasing products, and so therefore VAT and things like that will naturally go through there, and that can stimulate local businesses. I think that's one of the biggest things I want to see, and also trying to simplify the tax system so new businesses can go into it a lot easier. People like Jake.
So what? Just to ask,
there's a miscommunication going on. You do not have to gift anybody on this panel at any time to gain access to the panel. That is not how we do things here.
You have to gift
socialists.
I'm a capitalist. You have to gift me.
Boo just doesn't like getting gifts. You do not have to pay for a panel space. We do it based on people making.
I'd rather have your conversation than your money, guys.
I'm the other way.
Drop comments. I'd rather have a conversation with you than you send me an emoji gift thing. Now, to ask you a few questions about, because I agree with the tax threshold. Jake's face when you said that. Can I ask the tax brackets? The highest one is 125,140. It's changed recently, I think. So I was just double checking the numbers. That's ridiculous. So somebody who's just gone over that. So that encourages people not to work. A lot of people are choosing not to earn over 100,000 because it'll cost them 30 grand a year in childcare because they'll miss out on that 30 hours free childcare. So it's forcing people, it's making people not take promotions. That's what's currently happening in this country. And the idea that somebody who earns £124,000, roughly, pays the exact same amount as somebody who earns £250,000 a year, 300, 400, 500. That's the exact. They had the basic. It's very rare that people do earn that in that certain way. Just quickly putting that out there on income tax. But I mean, it doesn't seem very fair. I think the tax brackets definitely need changing.
I mean, if you look at the tax bracket, should be free for all, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the higher tax bracket, somebody who's earning 50,000, just over £51,000 a year, will pay the same amount as somebody earning over £100,000 a year. That is not fair. I'm sorry, but that isn't. Somebody who's just hit that tax. I mean, the tax threshold is frozen. I do think they're going to continue the freeze after 20. It's easy money. I'm sorry, it is. I hope they don't. Because that is self-tax. We can't say we're not upping income tax and then doing a self-tax like that. That is completely morally bankrupt and going against their pledges. Whatever way they swing it is going against their pledges. But I hope they're not going to do that. I hope it ends in 2028. But I am worried.
I would like to say, especially with like how like the minimum. I like it when like the minimum national living wage goes up because I get a pay rise. But my contract is 8 hours, so I'm never going to pay tax on that. You know what I mean? But I know people who are on 20 hours and 16 hours, especially those people on those contracts, they're eventually going to go over that threshold naturally anyway. And especially with my company, I'm not going to state who I work for because reasons.
This is what we talk about when we talk about take-home pay and real terms losses, is that if your take-home pay reduces, even though your wage has gone up, that's a real terms loss.
Exactly.
Can I actually say something a little bit controversial around inheritance tax?
I agree with inheritance tax.
Let Harry finish, then it's Jake's turn, because Jake's been waiting, and then we'll go back to Lewis.
I generally think because how they want to work their system is it's really weakening like workers and their eventual take-home pay eventually in the end anyway. I just think if they just increase it by a couple of grand, 6 grand, like the personal tax allowance, I think that would be fine. You know what I mean? And I think also if they matched it with inflation every year, I think that would work out better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sorry, Jake was distracting me. I'm so sorry for
you. That was Lewis who started that.
He used to. The camera's on. Distracted me.
Well, yeah, Lewis started it.
I agree. I mean, the upping minimum wage and then not upping the thresholds has just pushed loads of people into paying more taxes. It's not been a gain for them. If anything, it's been a massive cut to them. And that is happening in quite loads of people from working class all the way to that higher middle class are being affected by these silly rules, which aren't helping. Because when minimum wage goes up, all the other wages are also going up. Apart from public sector jobs, they tend to be sticking at minimum wage now. I mean, NHS nurses are on minimum wage. It's terrible. But other jobs in like private sector, the minimum wage goes up, which means all their wages also increase, which aren't actually increasing on the same scale. CJ, what would you like to be in the budget? Sorry. Hi.
Right. First of all, before I go into what I want, what I'd like anyway, when minimum wage does go up, you got to bear in mind everything else goes up because the companies have to pay for it. Food, energy just goes up anyway, but food and the quality and quantity of the food also goes down. So you get inflation and shrinkflation due to the fact of minimum wage and that lot. They need to sort something a bit better than.
I agree, CJ. No more pay rises for anyone.
Well, pay rises for me, just not you, Jay.
Not your number.
CJ, what would you like in the budget? And then James.
Right. I think what they need to do, the minimum earning before tax, it does need to go up from 12.5.
Yeah.
I would like it at 20 grand, but I know that's not a realistic thing. Maybe go up a few thousand and that lot. They also need to lower VAT. That'll help businesses. They also, which this will upset Jake, They also need to raise business rates by at least about 2%.
Would you also raise business exemption taxes, for small businesses and new businesses? Because that encourages growth.
Yes, definitely. 100% I'd raise that for new businesses and that lot. But they also need to stop paying so much foreign aid, which would save money. And one of the biggest bugbears I've got, which is not going to be part of the budget, is I am sick and tired that every single Prime Minister, as soon as the Prime Ministers leave, they can still claim Prime Minister's wages. That needs...
Okay, so I actually agree with that. Not it in the sense of what it's for. They get just over £100,000 a year. Majority of the ex-Prime Ministers use that for security. They do not get security given to them by the taxpayers. That is to mainly pay for security. And as you can imagine, Liz Truss isn't the most popular in the UK. I've seen reports, I don't know if they're true, but I've heard reports that people throw lettuces at her.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
On the new business,
Jake's one of them that's thrown a lettuce.
1 minute, Jake's not said his thing, and then I want to say my thing for the budget, and then we'll go on. Go on, Jake.
Just one thing CJ said. If I want to increase exemptions for small businesses, but we need a safeguard against reincorporation. Because if new businesses, Keiko have been doing it for years. They reincorporate over and over and over again to dodge fines.
Yeah, they just reinvent their business, rename it. Most common way.
New logo.
Right, go on, Jake. Your budget thing.
It's not going to happen. It won't. But I would like to see exemptions for corporates and overseas aid, and overseas funding, and overseas corporation funding. And
what exemptions would they be?
So normally they have private agreements, HMRC, such as for NI, for example. So Amazon is famous for it. They have complete exemptions that does cost us round about the current estimate, and this is an estimate, is 70 billion.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So you could actually afford to give us all tax breaks and charge them properly, but they won't do that. So that's never going to happen now, not under this government anyway.
We can hope. It wasn't going to happen under Reform's government, was it? Let's be honest, Jake.
Well, I don't know. They were going to give us all 20 grand before we pay tax. We weren't going to have VAT anymore.
That is a very lefty policy. No right-wing government is ever going to...
It's not going to happen under Greens neither, so...
all I am... Sorry.
So, is that it? Yes.
No, there is one more.
Go.
Now, everyone says corporation tax needs to go up, right? Now, let's just put this into perspective. And I know some of you are all going to have your faces on around this, right? Oh, is my mic gone weird?
No.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. It was like a fuzzy noise. I didn't know what
you got a mic?
Yes.
I got a mic. I don't have to turn it on.
Can I just say, I was recording content before I come on with Boo. You got a posh one as well. Mine's a cheap one.
I got gifted it.
You got gifted it?
Because my family were like, this will help you get off benefits. I'm like, I don't know if it will. I don't know if it's on. I have got one.
You need to learn how, because that is a good quality one as well.
I've used it as a prop in videos before when it's not on.
Like, I'm part of the club. I'm part of the club.
To be fair, I should probably get a mic because I have this habit of rocking around in my wheelchair. You'll have seen it, Jake. I rock around in my wheelchair all over the room while I'm recording.
Although I've got in my other office, we're setting up a podcast room with like proper mics and stuff. It's going to be really snazzy. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait for this.
You're going to be what are you trying to be a proper like creator?
More on LinkedIn content though. It's more for the.
Oh my god, she's an influencer.
Oh my god, no! I just need to sell more. I need more money to pay these taxes. It's like crazy right now. So when we say about corporation tax, the one thing that we need to take into account that does affect every business across the scale, not just, and it won't affect the big ones to be honest with you, because they've normally got private agreements. To be honest, so you only really targeting the small ones. The problem is when you target the small ones is that's about 40% of your economy currently, or a bit more actually. I think it's 50 something.
I think it's 58.
58.
It was close to 60 last time I checked.
So, and at the minute, you've had record closures of those businesses in the last year. And that's for multiple factors, not just tax. That is multiple factors. Podcast taxing and fuck off. So, I've got to do all these things to pay fucking my tax bill.
Has anyone else seen that video where she's like, "Stop giving men microphones"?
Yeah.
Literally. So all I'm going to say on that is when you start looking at that, how many people that employ, how much tax comes in with that, how much they pay in pensions, how much they're already paying in AI, how much they're already paying in salaries, how much they already support local business to local smaller businesses, because smaller businesses tend to want to work with other small businesses. All that's going to happen is more record closures. Because it is getting to a point now where even I'm going to be hated for saying this, I have looked at moving my businesses domiciled abroad.
No.
Yes,
No,
I've had
if you
it
don't pay your taxes, who's going to pay for my rent?
Fuck off, I can't afford it.
Please do not come for me. That was a joke. Right.
Jake, who's gonna pay for my mini fridge?
Honestly,
That was a
no,
very
it's not
bad
that.
joke.
But you
You're gonna get a load of hate
but
for that. You
guys,
didn't know what
when
to
you
do.
work like for 18 hours a day straight for half the
I'll
year,
have to
and you
get a
look at your
second job,
tax
you
bill,
know.
and you get your tax bill, it's gutting. It literally is gutting.
Yeah, I get gutted every time I see it on my Universal Credit statement. It's heartbreaking. When I see £600 being deducted every month on Universal Credit, I'm like, why? This is going back to me. This is just a pointless tax.
Do you know what genuinely doesn't annoy me, right? So the disability employment gap.
No, let Booth do a policy because she's even raising the booby doobies and everything. She's doing that and everything.
We're on about tax. My beef is that the disability living gap is £1,095 a month, and I'm not even allowed to earn that before it gets deducted.
Yeah. I can anybody guess what mine would be? Actually, I think it's quite predictable.
Yeah, get rid of pensions. We'll put them in something called a chamber something.
No,
and then,
not
not
that far.
Oh, not that far, but I'm not that far off either.
Okay, so I would get rid of the triple
It's triple lock.
Yeah, so the OBR, the triple lock is completely unsustainable. The OBR are forecasting it's going to cost us £15.5 billion every single year from 2030. £15.5 billion. That's just
Because of the dinosaurs. It's because of the dinosaurs. Kill them off.
The triple lock. Now, bear in mind that only 15% of pensioners rely solely on the state pension. 15%, the rest all have other forms of income. And bear in mind that then 15% who solely rely on the state pension, majority of them are entitled to pension credit, which also will still be in place if the triple lock left. It would also still rise with inflation, guys. If we got rid of the triple lock, it would still go up every April. It just won't go up by an extreme amount.
I have a moderate view on this. So it's the